Hi, hello, and how are you? I'm Krystal the Mystic, and you know why you're here. The title must have resonated for you in some way, and this message is probably for you. If it's not, don't take it too personal. I have been having a lot of people commenting on my TikToks that I've been posting, my TikTok readings, and they're taking things extra personally. We all need to use discernment to know what details are meant for us and what are not. It's not that deep, This is meant to be confirmation and entertainment more than anything. Okay? So, I pulled some oracle cards to see what we're talking about today, and then we're going to pull some tarot to kind of clarify. We have, you can always rewrite the story. I find it so interesting that the name of this card is Villain. Be honest with yourself. Flower. And justice is coming. Which, I must drink a little more water. I guess I'm a little, my hands are a little shaky. Ooh, I don't know which way the deck is supposed to be. So, the Hermit's on the bottom of the deck here. This is telling me, plus looking at this, you can always rewrite the story. Be honest with yourself. Justice is coming. You might have purposefully isolated yourself in a way that people can't even reach you anymore. And you might have thought there might be moments where you feel like your isolation is your karma. You feel very disconnected from people, and you might feel like that's your own karma, but I don't think that's the case. If I'm being honest with you, I think you were made to be a villain in a lot of people's story because it was easier for them to deal with. Maybe I was talking about people taking things personally earlier. Maybe people took things really personal when it came between you and whatever situations, single or multiple, and people felt more comfortable with making you the villain. And you might have adopted that as something about yourself. This is a personality trait of mine. I connect with people and I fuck them up. That's literally something that you might have now adopted as a mindset because other people have conditioned you to feel negatively about how you show up, which is not true. And I think that's why we need to be a little more honest with ourselves here, because you might be taking things personal because other people took things personally because of you. So I know that sounds very, very mushy, but it feels layered. It feels like somebody projected their own wounds onto you, and now you've internalized those ideas about yourself. And now you're like, what is the truth? Am I the villain? Am I the villain? But you're really not. You can always rewrite that story. You don't have to necessarily be perfect in the past in order to do that either. Because I think you might still be dealing with the guilt and or grief about sorting through this. Focus on the here and now and confidence underneath that. It comes with time and practice. So you might be having a lot of trouble being in your own mind, being spacing out, not being with it. But that's because you feel like you might be getting punished. You might be feeling like you're hitting a someone else is getting their karmic justice on you, but that's not the case. This might be a call for you to I want to say to ask what is true to you, because it's easier to punish yourself for things that you've done in the past instead of giving yourself grace for not knowing better than. And that's not always, I don't want to sound like I'm justifying, but there's something that I heard recently that I have completely adopted as a mindset, and I'm 31. I'll be turning 32 in a few months. And something I heard, I don't remember who said it, was you need to stop punishing yourself for things you did when you still had a developing brain. And like, your brain isn't fully developed until 25. And yes, you're still gonna make mistakes after that, like, of course. But if that's the only way you knew how to see, feel, experience, especially if that's how your parents treated you, then it's going to be really hard to distinguish why that doesn't actually work with other people until you realize it doesn't work, or why that's the thing that's not working. I know this feels so code. I feel like I'm saying this very coded, but the people who need to hear it will know who they are. So how can you get above this? Two of Cups, Temperance reverse, Two of Wands, Eight of Cups reversed, Seven of Pentacles, Knight of Swords reversed. Oh, actually, are these supposed to be? No, upright. This is saying a blockage. Okay. How can you get above this? You know, how can you not let this like hold you down, essentially? You have people in your life who you might have turned your back on, who want to be a person of peace and love and support to you. That's what angels are supposed to be. And when we think of, like, if you see she's tied up, not even noticing that they're there. And it's really ironic that this woman looks like the same woman in this Temperance card. And Temperance reverse is talking about like how there's a call to, I see this card in reverse, and I think sobriety is necessary. So that might be for somebody. I don't know. That's not going to be for everybody. Please don't take that. But if it doesn't resonate for you. But I do think that there's something about your mind being clouded by influences that is tapping into your own equilibrium. Like, it's not always benefiting you as much as you think it is. It might be distracting you, but it's not benefiting you by any means. And you have people who you can lean on that you might not be doing so, because you might have been very hurt in the past. And so you might have felt abandoned. You might have felt like you've had to take on responsibilities on your own, and not in the way that feels empowering, in the way that feels disjointed and feels isolating. And we were talking about that earlier. Because you have invested a lot in other people that did not necessarily give you that same investment. And now you are a little more, I want to say, precise about what you say, very intentional about what you say, how you say it, and how you come across. Because I feel like you have been in a lot of situations that have been confusing. So you want to be as direct as possible, but I don't think that means that you are being transparent. I think you are being direct. Those are different things. Transparent means they understand, they fully see what's going on, you're not holding anything back. Direct means I'm telling you exactly what I need to say, exactly what you need to know. See the difference in intention? Intentionality feels really important here, because they don't want to be confusing anymore. I think they've been too confused in the past, and that's something that really holds them back within this situation, holds you back in this situation, if this is in regards to another person. But it does feel like there is another person or small circle involved that you have turned your back towards, and you might have felt like you were the one being outcast, but I think that you were being misperceived, misunderstood, and now I think you have the ability to rewrite that story with the new with the people who will actually be supportive to you rather than the people who made you out to be a villain. I think deep down you know that there are people who really, truly have your best interest at heart without any underlying intentions for themselves. But you haven't had a lot of that. And that might be why this is hard to trust. But your justice is coming. Your magic is making its way. But you need to be more honest with yourself about what patterns actually have gotten you to this place, and how can you work on that to trust the people who will help you establish a new balance, a new, I want to say, sense of a new equilibrium for yourself. What will that look like when you're not feeding into this persona that's not actually who you are? Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm going to leave this reading here. Please let me know what you think. This was kind of juicy. Very intrigued. Very, very intrigued. I'm getting notifications too, so I do think that you're going to be hearing from someone, like, you're going to be hearing from someone, and it almost feels like it's a test of, it's a test of trust. Will you trust their support? Or will you turn it down because you are worried that they're going to show up like other people? You can rewrite your story. So don't hold on to narratives that don't fit who you feel like you truly are. Other people will never know you as well as you know yourself. And when you accept other people's perception of you, it disempowers the sense of self that you've cultivated. You are essentially gaslighting yourself or invalidating yourself by listening to somebody else over you. So 12/12, as I said that, so I'm going to leave your reading here. Thank you as always for trusting and allowing me to read for you. I am always happy to do so. You guys are the best and the reason why I do it. So thank you for being here on my journey with me, and I hope that these messages come to you whenever they need to. Have a lovely day, a lovely week. Bye.